Hello, ladies. I'm here, baby. I'm here, wifey. What's up, Kelsey? Um, hey, what's up, Triple L? Hey, Amos. Delete that. Hello, 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 everyone. Who's in the building? If you guys don't mind, can I have some people go to my backup channel? I put the link in the chat. Hey, Classy J. What's up, mama? I need some mods for that channel. So if a couple of you guys don't mind jumping out and going into the other channel so I could give you guys some wrenches. What's up, Jackie? What's up, wifey? What's up, Cows? Classy J. Wings. Jacqueline Jones. Triple L the Great. What's up? What's up? Hello, everybody. I am Queen Newton. What's up, Mama Love? Mom Life. Hello. Thank you, Admis. All right, well, listen, guys. Is anybody over there? I need somebody to jump over there. Jump into the chat, guys. Whoever's over there, I see two of you guys in that channel. Who is it? Jump in the chat so I can give you guys wrenches. Miss Karen J. What's up? Well, there's a lot going on in these streets. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Okay, I want to give Classy J her wrench back. Triple L. Okay. All right, there's 4 of you guys over here. Can somebody type in the chat? For those who are on Diva Divine 2.0. Can you guys please do me a favor and type in the chat? Girl, you ain't lying. The streets never get quiet. Ooh. Thank you, Triple L. Thank you, Papi. Thank you, baby. Yes, now you can hit the super chat now. Now you can hit the chat, the super chats. If you ain't got no Zelle or PayPal or Cash App, you can always just donate to the channel itself. Hey, Blackberry, what's up, Chuleta? Hi. No, I don't see none of y'all commenting over there. That's weird. Let me refresh it. Let me refresh it, guys. Hold on. Oh, now I do. Okay, I had to refresh the screen, guys. Sorry about that. All right, let me give my little wrenchies. Let me give my wrenchies out. Okay, guys. I got you, Karen, Classy, Wifey, Kels, Wings, Flawless. Okay, type, guys. All right. Wifey got it. All right. I see it, y'all. I see it, y'all. I see you guys. Type in the chat, so make sure you use a blue. All right, so I got my little moderators over here. And then I have my moderators in my other channel as well. Yes, testing, testing. Do y'all hear me over here? Well, as I was saying, let me go to the other, let me go over to the other, let me go over to the other channel. Let me go to my normal channel. Hold on. Oh, no wrench wings. Hold on, babe. Okay. Wings, do it again, baby. That's what I was saying, because I kind of did it fast, so I might have skipped somebody. All right, type again, guys. Blackberry Wings. Type again, y'all. Flawless. You too, mama. Let me make sure you got your wrench. Okay, Kelsey is. Okay, she's good. Wifey's good. Wings is good. Flawless is good. Okay, Classy J is good. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So you guys, if you guys want, you can hang out over there. Or you can, whatever. At least have one moderator in there. Y'all could go back and forth. I'm going to switch off from my phone to the other channel, guys. Thank you, guys. Congratulations for being new mods on my other channel. The truth. What's up, baby? Hi. Fat boy in here? Hey, fat boy, I didn't see you. Hey, fat boy, what's up, bro? Okay. Guys, for those who are the members only, did you guys get to peek in on that little tea I put in there? Let's not talk about it. That's a members only secret. Shh. But it's something to look at, right? It's something that makes you go, I wonder. Well, as far as tea in the streets, our brother Dana J had an exclusive with Janet where she was reporting live. Oh, hold on one second. Let me wake up my husband. Hold on, y'all. In the meantime, let me play this clip.
Good evening. I'm Yuri Chiwalda, and this is Making the Case. Disgraced singer R. Kelly returns to a federal courtroom in Brooklyn tomorrow, along with a jury of 7 men and 5 women who will be deciding his fate. So far, the prosecution has put on witness after witness who've all testified in graphic detail about the sexual, physical, and emotional abuse they've endured. Kelly is charged with racketeering and sex trafficking and has pled not guilty on all charges. Not only have the accusers collectively testified to similar accounts of abuse, but the majority of those accounts come from Black women, most of whom were underage when they met Kelly. Joining me from New York to talk big picture issues concerning this trial is Jade Magnus Ogunaki, who is the Senior Director of Media, Culture, and Economic Justice at Justice Team at Color of Change. Jade, welcome to the show.
Good evening. Hope you're doing well.
Okay, so Jade, you and Color of Change have been outspoken about R. Kelly's abuse of Black women and girls for years. In fact, you led your organization's 3-year campaign to have Kelly dropped from his label, Sony RCA, which eventually happened. What's it feel like to finally see the fruits of yours and so many others' labor now that Kelly is being held to account for decades long of alleged abuse that the government is now calling a criminal enterprise?
Yeah, the trial has been shocking in many ways to watch. So far, 12 of R. Kelly's victims have testified, most of whom were too young to buy a pack of cigarettes when he met them. And they've testified that he forced them to do humiliating sexual acts, that he knowingly gave them sexually transmitted diseases. And then I think maybe, one of the most shocking things is that, one of the pastor testified who married R. Kelly, illegally married R. Kelly and a 15-year-old Aaliyah. It's super clear that everyone has been complicit in enabling R. Kelly for decades, everyone from the media to the clergy, to the record label. We initially started the Drop R. Kelly campaign in 2017 when BuzzFeed dropped an article showing that R. Kelly was still targeting young Black women and girls, subjecting them to unbelievable violence, unbelievable depravity, and robbing them of agency at a really, really young age. 2 years later, after Black women and girls organized, our sisters at Mute R. Kelly, Dream Hampton, who sits on Color of Change's board, who executive produced Surviving R. Kelly, they were able to push the issue to the forefront, where we were able to renegotiate with RCA a second time. We talked to them in the past in 2017, but it was really the pressure from Black women and girl activists that really pushed the campaign over the edge and really allowed us to secure a win there.
So going back to this campaign, the prosecution have accused Kelly of leading this criminal enterprise of managers, bodyguards, and other employees who we've heard from in this trial so far, who allegedly helped him recruit women and underage girls for sex and pornography, and then crossing state lines for that purpose. Now, you said the same when you launched the Drop R. Kelly campaign, but it wasn't just individuals. You also included, like you said, his label, RCA, to the group of enablers who aided in that abuse of Black girls for 25 years. How did that movement get started, and why was the cause so important to you?
Yeah, I was in middle school when the R. Kelly trial, the initial R. Kelly trial happened. And I still remember really, really clearly hearing people talk about the young women who he sexually abused on the radio. I remember seeing it on TV. I remember hearing adults talk about it, and nobody ever told me it was wrong. Nobody ever said R. Kelly is a rapist. He took advantage of a young, vulnerable girl and enacted violence upon her. Nobody said that to me. It wasn't until I was much older that I had some perspective about what was actually going on. Color of Change is the nation's largest racial justice organization. We have millions of members. And as a Black woman, I see so much of my job as centering Black women and girls and our needs, and really lifting up their voices. So when we read that BuzzFeed article in 2017 that came out, we knew that this was our opportunity. This was, the Black nonprofits opportunity to right a wrong. no one stood up for the young girl who R. Kelly sexually abused. Nobody stood up for Aaliyah. They were called fast. They were called. They said that they wanted it. And R. Kelly escaped accountability for decades. It's the failure of media. It's the failure of the church. It's the failure of our community to protect Black women and girls that's enabled this to happen for so long. And it's no surprise and no coincidence that it's only when R. Kelly has really fallen from his height of superstardom and is no longer really making the label money that they really want to punish him by dropping him from the label. If R. Kelly had been, if the young lady who R. Kelly sexually abused decades ago had received a fair trial back then, back in Chicago, we wouldn't be here right now. And so, you know, as a Black woman, I'm reluctant to say that the criminal justice system is delivering a measure of accountability. But I will say that it's more accountability than we've ever seen. The 12 victims who were able to speak were able to share their stories. As far as we know, there's been no tampering with victims how there was in the past. You know, when R. Kelly was on trial decades ago, when I was in middle school, he sent the victim and her family on a vacation so that she wasn't even around. So, you know, we're really seeing some measure of, I guess, rather than accountability, I would probably say it's recognition. And for all of the Black women and girls, and actually young men as well, a young man testified, for all of the young people who R. Kelly abused, who we're hearing from, there's countless others who have the same story, whose lives were wrecked and taken off course because of the incredibly disturbing and violent actions of R. Kelly and the community that enabled him.
Jade, you know, for some of the reasons you just mentioned, we've been tracking this trial from the pretrial phase to day one of jury selection, not because it's R. Kelly and it's high profile, but because it was important to give voice to the accusers, right? We've heard stories of his abuse for years through articles and documentaries, but nothing really compares to the detailed accounts being given by his accusers on the witness stand. I mean, it's as hard as it is to hear. It's so incredible.
You see how she was explaining? Yes, please go follow Triple L and OCOV Fat Boy. He's been doing OCOV Fat Boy has been reading the well, not actually reading it, but he's actually got the reader going, so it goes straight through the transcript. Thank you, Fat Boy. Yes, thank you, Triple L. You're welcome, Nikki. I was giving back people wrenches as I went through going, you know, because I had to clean up my channel and start over again. So sorry for the guys who did have wrenches and then lost their wrenches. You know, it's only because I wanted to clear things up and, you know, give my most faithful loyal subscribers their wrenches back. Aisha, matter of fact, you got a wrench too, right? Yeah, you got your wrench back too. Okay. Hello, everyone, once again. So you see, everybody keeps saying that the prosecution is just talking about the sexual activity, the illegal sexual activity that went on, allegedly, right? But they keep saying, the other side keeps saying that they're not proving their case of racketeering, right? Well, as we know that, matter of fact, Miss Esquire, I'm going to play a little clip from hers too as well, was explaining, you know, how the witnesses testified and how no matter what the age and no matter how the girls lied about their age, that doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, the adult is the one who's responsible for their action. Children are children. Children are going to misbehave. Children are going to rebel. Children are going to cause drama and get into trouble. But an adult should know better than a child. An adult is not a child. An adult should know right from wrong all the time. Why? What happened? My name is my channel. Oh, yes. Wing's name is her channel. Let me see if I could go. Let me see if I can go to her page. Espérate. Let me see if I can find her. Then I'll put it. Let me see if I can find her. Okay. Oh man, Wings. I think I was subscribed to your other channel. I gotta subscribe to your channel now. Cause let me see what. All right, I can't find. Mommy, you're gonna have to go to your channel and put the link in the chat, babe. Yeah. Okay, mommy. Hey, Missy, happy birthday again, mommy. Happy birthday to my Virgo ladies. Matter of fact, Kel's Tears, who just celebrated a birthday. Ty, Robert Oko just celebrated a birthday. Janine celebrated a birthday. Our girl Missy's birthday. And I believe it was Angie's birthday too, and Janine's birthday. Happy birthday to all you ladies. Okay, Robin. So, so you see, they are describing the enterprise, as I was saying. The prosecution is doing just that. They're proving how he took girls from place to place, from state to state, how he coerced them, how he persuaded them, how he enticed them, how he gave STDs, how the bribery became of Aaliyah's wedding. I think they're doing a wonderful job proving their case. Now let's just see if it sticks. That's it. That's all. And they're still not done. I believe Lizette Martinez and Javante Cunningham are up tomorrow. Hallie Calhoun was on today with another young lady, Jane Doe number 3. And so far, so all the Jane Does pretty much testified. All the girls pretty much testified. So that's how that went about. So let's continue.
Incredibly important, yet this trial is still not seeing the kind of media attention that, you know, the Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby trials received, both of which were also closed off to media. So first, why do you think that is? And do you think it's important to amplify these accounts to make people listen?
Yeah, I noticed that myself. I mean, I worked on the R. Kelly case from 2017 to, I guess, 2019, and paid attention to every little piece of news that came out about it. And I actually just said to my cousin today, this is so weird. I'm not hearing anybody talk about the trial. I'm not hearing any updates at all. And I think we can't deny that when the victims are young Black people, then the case is not as exciting to media. I mean, the way that that Aaliyah was treated, the way that the victim that R. Kelly abused.
Now, I have something to say about that. Yes, Hallie testified today, along with another Jane Doe number 3. Now, as she was saying here, that the media isn't covering too much about R. Kelly. And I'm gonna say the real reason why, in my opinion. My opinion as to why the media isn't really covering R. Kelly is because of all the backlash and the threats to the media while they're covering this story from the R. Kelly supporters. And I think it's a damn shame. You know, the media shouldn't be afraid to cover a story because you have a bunch of fans and freaks who are for this man and who are sick and who think that this man, it's okay for him to do what he did to these girls just because they wanted to be there. That's a problem. And I think that the media is afraid. The supporters have pushed away the media. Because if you notice, the media was all there at one point until the interference of his supporters and their antics and the fighting and the disputing all in front of the courthouse, in the courthouse. They're hurting his case. And no, there won't be a mistrial. Mistrials don't happen like that. So there's only specific ways that there could be a mistrial. We'll talk about that too. Yeah, the supporters are making it harder for him. You're right. You know, yes, you're right. It seems like Court TV decided not to cover the story. I think they was tired of R. Kelly supporters being thirsty for an interview. Besides that, they kept threatening them on Twitter and in their comment sections on their YouTube videos, on their channels. Court TV, BNC, whoever it was that covered. But you know what? BNC is still there. They see that it's unfair, you know, and then you have the R. Kelly supporters that are there reporting, and they're either telling half-truths or they're mixing up the story or they don't understand what's really going on. That's why it's really important to get those transcripts. Unfortunately, now they put a lockdown on transcripts to where now you can only purchase them as they come up on Pacer. Now, I already wrote this lady like 1,000,000 times to try to get these transcripts. Now, she said to me, as soon as they're ready, she will hit me back up and send me an invoice. So we're still waiting. So in the meantime, guys, if you can, continue to give your donations. We are entitled to the transcripts. They will release them to us as soon as they're ready. And then we can go through them and know what really went on in court. Until then, we will report as time goes, and we will report what the media is letting us know, as well as the ladies in the streets who are saying what they're saying, you know. So, yeah, it's a shame they can't even go to courthouse and act like civilized people. I agree. What's up, lady? What's up? Mom, what's up, Mom? You know, yeah, they harassed these people. I mean, like, come on. This was ridiculous. These people have been doing dumb stuff in front of the courthouse. How does this make this man look like the company he keeps around himself, right? You know, they say you are the company you keep. So obviously the company he keeps is bad company. So what does that tell you about the man himself? He's a very bad man, right? You know, they like to blame the women, right, for being a hoe, right? And then say, oh, she's a hoe, and all them girls that hang out with her are a hoe. Well, you know what? R. Kelly hangs out with criminals and bad people. So what does that tell you about him? He's a bad, bad man, right? It's the company you keep. If it could go for one person, it could go for another. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. R. Kelly's not innocent. Sorry, not at all. Not in my eyes. And it's about time that people stop sweeping this stuff under the rug. This is the problem. This is why there is a Me Too era. Because women are tired. We are tired. Time is up for all these men who have been abusing women and taking advantage of them because they know they're in a vulnerable situation, whether it be their home life, whether it be trying to get a career, or whether trying to be in love with a star. It's sick. And everything that this man is accused of is sick. And the prosecution is proving every little act that there is to be proven in a racketeering RICO Act charge. You know, so, yeah, exactly. They don't know ish. Hey, Karen Johnson, what's up, mama? Thank you, Jacqueline. Yes, the truth. Them supporters don't know ish about ish. Okay? You know, if they really wanted to do that, they could, Triple L. They sure can. Even the books. That's where they get a lot of their fact from. You know? Because that's how they're corroborating stories. That's how they're doing it, man. Besides the fact, right, Carrie Kelly was ready to fight today. What the hell was that? He was ready to fight. I don't know if it was for Dubosky, against Dubosky. I was confused by what Janet was saying. But it all sounded crazy to me. It sounded like they wanted to jump Debo. You know, and I don't think none of that shit is cool, man. None of that shit looks good on R. Kelly, bro. Y'all all need to stay away from the court. If yous are not going to be civilized with each other, don't go, man. If yous are not going to act like adults inside of the courts or outside of the courts, don't go. This is terrible for this man. I'm not for him. But damn, let him get a fair shot. Shit. Yous aren't even going to let that happen. What's going to happen is all you people are going to be banned from the court. Nobody's going to be allowed to be in court. That's what's going to happen. Nobody's going to be allowed to be in court. That's what's going to happen. They're going to lock it down to where they're only going to let media and press go in. And they know who all the supporters are. They're watching y'all. So they will not let you in. They'll let other people in. Those who are not making a ruckus outside or inside the building. The Truth, that's your channel, mama. Yes, please go follow my sister, The Truth, if you are not following her as well. All the content creators, please continue throughout the chat if you can. Say follow my channel and then put your link in. All right? I want to share the love with everybody, you know? Sarah! Hello, ladies. So I think, you know, I will be doing a dedication to the ladies. I will be reading poetry and talking about depression and trauma and things of that nature so that we can better understand, other people can better understand why these girls stayed, why it was hard for them to leave. Okay? Doesn't make any sense how they act. They are not even teenagers or college students. People 30 over acting like fools. Exactly. Thank you. Exactly. Fat boy, I'm giving you a wrench. Don't move. Okay, type again, fat boy. So it's crazy. Let's continue.
Used and was on trial for decades ago was treated by media. It just shows that Black women and girls are unprotected. We are not protected, and that our plight is not cared about. If we, if people are talking about something, it's because Black women and girls are at the lead. We're pushing everyone else to pay attention, and it's really, really unfortunate that media, who delighted in the Gayle King interview with R. Kelly acting a fool, it's shocking that they don't want to actually tell the stories of these girls. It just shows that if Black women and girls aren't making you listen, nobody will listen.
Now, just last week, BNC crews reported seeing fans, many of whom were Black women, lined up outside the courthouse. Despite what's been said about Kelly for decades, he still has support. What does that say to you, and why does Kelly, or sexual predators in general, often get their staunchest support from the communities they hurt?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many layers to it, right? Black women and girls have been the loudest people against R. Kelly, and there's certainly a section of Black women and girls who support R. Kelly. It just shows that fame and celebrity is really one of the ultimate privileges, and that R. Kelly's wealth and the artistic contributions that he's made are more important to some people than the safety of Black women and girls. It's unfortunate, but what I can say for sure is that I've seen, from the time I was in middle school hearing about this case to now, I've seen a great change happen in the way that people are discussing the case, the way that people are discussing sexual assault and abuse. And I have to say that has everything to do with Black women and girls, really, on social media, on the news, in blogs, making people listen, changing the way that the language that people use, challenging ideas about young Black women and girls and promiscuity and quote unquote being fast. It's because of us that the conversation has changed. We started this conversation on sexual assault and rape culture, and we're the people that are continuing to keep it relevant. And the truth is that because of our hard work, so many more people all around the world are free, and they have the language to explain the horror and the trauma that they face on a daily basis. So yeah.
Jade Magnus Ogunaki, thank you so very much. Senior Director of Media, Culture, and Economic Justice at Color of Change. Thank you again for your work and for your insight. He might be
R. Kelly has done nothing but hurt the community. Nobody wants to believe women. Women are always lying. Men of power get away with a lot. Okay? That's just facts. Hi, Paul. Welcome to my channel, brother. Okay. If I was a judge, R. Kelly within 30 days would be found guilty and given a life sentence and save millions of dollars from this long dragged out court appointments. I don't like men who abuse females. Thank you, sir, for your humble comment. Thank you. I agree. I think if R. Kelly would have had a bench trial as opposed to a trial by jury, the judge would have deemed him guilty quickly. She would have read all that shit, broke it down, and said, okay, I got my verdict. He guilty. Lock him up, throw away the key, please. He should not be in the community at all. Never, ever again. Sit down where he's been sitting. He ain't going nowhere. I see a lot of his supporters have said they've been sexually abused before. I was molested from 8 to 12, then raped at 24. And in a physical relationship in my early 30s. I don't get how they can support him. Me either. I've been abused as well from the age of 9 to 14. And even in my relationships as an adult, I've been raped by my own boyfriends. Because when a woman tells you no, whether you are in love or whether you just started a relationship, whether you've been together for 2 months and then started to have sex, and then months down the line, here it is almost a year later, you're together, and she tells you, no, I don't want to have sex. You keep pushing the issue and trying to feel up on her, and she's like, stop, stop, stop. And you continue. You are assaulting her. You are about to rape her. She keeps telling you, stop. No, not now. I'm good. I don't understand why men don't get it when a woman says no. No means no. Don't fucking touch me. Don't fucking touch me. Don't. I don't care if you're my man and I've been with you for 8 years. Don't touch me. I don't want you to touch me right now. That means don't touch me. Or you're about to rape me. And how many times have us women or men have given into the opposite sex because we just we give it up. Just, you know what? It is what it is, man. When you're in a relationship, it's hard. So you just say, fuck it. Just hurry up and get it over with. I call those mercy fucks. That's what I call them. I don't even call it rape anymore. I've been through it so many times. For me, it's a mercy fuck. That means I let you fuck me because I feel sorry for you, motherfucker. Not the other way around. I got the power at the end of the day. Oh, yeah. Poo poo, what's up, mama? Hi. Right. When she say no, I listen because no is no. I don't do mercy fucks. Thank you, fat boy. Coming from a real man. Because real men don't do that shit. Real men don't do that. Real men don't buy women. Real men don't buy little girls. And that's exactly what Kelly did. Forced labor. Coercion. Enticement. The Mann Act. He's proven so far to have done all these things. All these corroborating witnesses are evidence. Plus visual depictions. And text messages. And letters. And signed NDAs. And all these things. Identities of people in the enterprise and who helped out R. Kelly to make his criminal enterprise move. Everything was in direction of, on behalf of R. Kelly. He was the head honcho and he had his commission of people. The pawns underneath him, from the sergeants to the lieutenants, to the captains, to the soldiers. Everybody was put in place, but so eloquently, strategically. You know, you're right. People will do Magdime, I have to give you props on that one. Yes. People will do strange fucking things for money, man. Money is the root to all evil. They should fucking burn money up. Like, who invented money? Still to this day, I haven't researched this. Who invented money? Why? Before there was money, what were we doing? Trading things. Money is evil. People will do a lot of things for money. Weird shit. Doesn't even matter. How many prank shows have we watched that say, okay, look, I'll give you $1,000 if you eat that cup full of hissing cockroaches? Fear factor. Let's talk about fear factor. People do funny things for money, right? Jump into a closed casket full of fucking snakes for $50,000. Jump out of an airplane with no rope. Things of that nature. People do funny things for money. And especially if you have an employer, as an employee, you need to try to keep your job. So you might look the other way. You might deal with harassment all day long. Your boss is coming on to you, squeezing your butt cheeks, rubbing next to you, rubbing your shoulders, caressing your hair, smelling you, all these different types of things to make you feel uncomfortable. But you can't say shit if you want to keep your job. And right now, it's all you got. And you got a family of 5 to feed and no husband. What are you going to do? You're going to sit the fuck down, do what you got to do, eat shit until you find another job, and then quit. And even that is hard sometimes. It takes a while to get another job. Well, I put his comment on the screen. Let's see. Okay, Nikki, your confession saddens me. I'm so sorry, my sister. I don't think you can completely heal from the horrendous ordeal you've been through. You're right. You know, a lot of us, like I've been through my own sexual abuse as well. You know, like I said, some of us will block it out and never remember again. Some of us will just put it in the back of our heads and never look back, but it'll always be there. And some of us will still be in pain every day and have to deal with being medicated up or being in therapy because we still have issues. We still feel the trauma. We still feel the pain. It's still a burden in our hearts. It's still a burden in our minds. It's still a burden on our shoulders. And we haven't been able to really let go. Every person deals with trauma differently. There's never one right way to be. Like I said, when I was abused, I became promiscuous. I was sexualized. Because of what happened to me, I was sexualized to the point where I thought that doing what I was doing, pleasing a man, was going to keep him there instead of just being myself. I was doing everything to try to make him happy and please him. I was abused by my own boyfriend, so it got to a point where he used to traffic me to other boys in the group. He didn't get paid. I didn't get paid. But he still trafficked me to other boys. And if I didn't do those things, he would break up with me, and I was so in love with him. He was my abuser. He started to abuse me from the age of 11 to 14. Then we got together. And then from age 14 to 17, we were boyfriend and girlfriend. On and off. Because he would leave me when I wouldn't do as I was told. But he always came back, and I always let him back in. Why? Because I was in love with my abuser. It happens. May seem strange to some people, but it happens. And no, he never physically abused me. He sexually exploited me, is what he did. But I loved him so much, I didn't want to let him go. But finally, I let him go. I found out he got another girl pregnant, and that was it for me. I was done. Like, how dare you? I did all these things for you. I abused my body for you. And you can still leave me? Yeah, I was hurt. Yeah, I was scorned. But I wasn't going to press charges on him because I loved him. And he was young. And I was young. And I figured I could move on with life. He could move on with life. That's why I didn't report. Because I thought the cops were going to look at me like, what? But you loved them. So you let him do this to you. So it was okay. But now we're in a different era. We're in a Me Too era. No more statute of limitations on sex crimes. If I really wanted to, I could go back and have all those guys arrested. It would take a long time. It would drag out, and I would just be stressing myself. When you know what? It happened so long ago, I'm going to leave it there. I learned my lessons. It was an experience I shouldn't have experienced, but I did. And no, I didn't want to do it, and I didn't want to be there, but I did because I thought he loved me the way I loved him. The way he used to coerce me with his words. Listen, I was younger than him. I was 14, he was 17. He was so smart. He was in high school. He knew a lot. He was very intelligent, straight A student. You know, it just, and being that I was a child and I had been molested by my babysitter and nothing happened to my babysitter, it made me keep my silence. Thank you for the super chat, Papi. It made me stay silent. Who's gonna believe me? At first, I didn't think my parent believed me. But she didn't take no actions because she probably didn't want to put me through the pain that I would have had to have gone through. Or the embarrassment that I would have had to have gone through. Or the family's embarrassment. There's a lot of reasons why she didn't do it. I don't know. It wasn't because she didn't want to protect me. So you can't always blame the parents for things that go on to their children. Shit happens. You can't always be there to protect your children. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it's impossible. Mine was an older man. My mom never knew, though I was only 8 and 9, by a friend of my family who babysat me in 32. I'm 32 now. Yes, I feel your pain, sister. I feel your pain. I went through it too. He died too. Mine did too. The babysitter, he died like a year or two after the incident. I believe it was a year after. And karma got him. God got him. And everything that happened to me with these boys, they have either gotten their karma or they will get it. I put it in God's hands. That's what I did. I put it in his court. They will be taken care of. You're welcome, guys. That's what I'm here for. You know, in reality, that was basically to support anyone who needs the support. Let's talk about it. You want to talk about it? We can talk about it. A lot of us were abused, either by a family member, a friend of the family, our pastors, our teachers, our own parents, relatives. It happens in almost every household. There's one person in there who is a pedophile, who's a sexual deviant, whether it be your auntie or your uncle, one of them. Because it happens to boys too. And guys, if you would like to donate to the R. Kelly Transcript Fund, please continue to do so. You can do it little by little. We already have enough for 2 transcripts. So if you want, you can donate to the Transcript Fund to my Cash App, and it is $ Diva Divine Light. Or you can also donate to This Blessed House, which is at Miss Love Zone's Cash App. You could donate to either one of us because we will be doing the transcripts between me and him on this side. And if you want to donate, and please make sure that you put inside the text that is for the transcript, okay? So I don't get confused. All right. And if you want to donate to me, you can donate straight to me and say, Diva, this is for you. All right. So I don't get the money confused. I also have PayPal, and it's paypal.me/Diva Divine Light. And I also have a Zelle. All right. And it's 347-336-97. No, I'm sorry. 347-664-9253. Goon! What's up, Goon? So I'm going to continue with another video. Okay, not this one. It's this one. Okay. And this one talks about the 9th accuser, which was Faith Rogers, who was on the stand before the weekend came. So let's listen to this.
Good evening, I'm Yuri Tuwalda, and this is Making the Case. After a long break, R. Kelly's racketeering and sex trafficking trial resumed today with a former radio station intern testifying that the singer lured her to Chicago with the promise of granting her an interview. Instead, that woman says she was locked in a room for 3 days and possibly drugged. Our very own Dre Clark is at the federal courthouse in Brooklyn with her story and other testimony from day 13 of this trial.
To date, federal prosecutors have called 34 witnesses to either testify directly against R. Kelly or provide testimony supporting their case. Today, 2 more female accusers came forward telling jurors that R. Kelly was a very controlling man and he had a serious fetish for young girls. R. Kelly's federal trial is now nearing 2 weeks, and there's been no shortage of testimony accusing Kelly of being a vile and violent man. Accuser number 8, who was identified as Sonia, told jurors she met Kelly when she was 21 in 2003 at a mall in Salt Lake City, Utah. Sonia was working for a local radio station and wanted to get a big interview with R. Kelly. Kelly declined, but later someone gave Sonia a piece of paper with Kelly's phone number. She said Kelly eventually invited her to Chicago for an interview. Sonia said her trip to the Windy City was a 3-day nightmare. She told jurors she was kept inside a locked room at Kelly's recording studio, The Chocolate Factory, with no food or water for almost 3 days. Sonia said only Kelly could approve her request to use the bathroom. And she testified after she was finally given food and drink, she got woozy immediately and fell asleep. She told jurors when she woke up, her underwear were off and Kelly was standing across the room, zipping up his pants. She told jurors there's no doubt in her mind Kelly raped her. She said Kelly made her sign a non-disclosure agreement and told her to go back to Utah. She never got the interview. And accuser number 9, Anna. She told jurors she met Kelly at a concert in South Carolina in 2016. She testified Kelly was controlling. He had strict rules like no makeup, never look at other men, and in public wear only baggy clothes and hats, and never make a move without getting his permission first. She said if you broke his rules, he would spank you until you were bruised or bloody. She said Kelly recorded her having sex with other people and said he oftentimes asked her to role play as a very young girl or Disney character before they had sex. She told jurors she wrote letters claiming her mother was trying to blackmail Kelly, but she said the letters were full of lies. Kelly, she testified, made her write those things to protect him in case he was ever arrested for sex crimes. Anna said she was paid $1,500 to participate in the documentary Surviving R. Kelly. Many credit that documentary for provoking R. Kelly's demise. In New York, I'm Dre Clark for Making the Case.
The prosecution picked up where it left off, giving the jury more testimony from women who say Kelly used his inner circle to take advantage of them. Back with me to discuss the action from court today is veteran prosecutor and BNC's legal contributor, Paul Henderson. Paul, let's start with the testimony from the first witness today, who went by the name Sonia, the former radio station intern, who says Kelly promised her an interview, but instead she was locked in a room for days without food or water, then was later drugged and sexually assaulted. And the defense then pointed out that Sonia never publicly shared this until taking the stand, then hired famed women's rights attorney Gloria Allred and fabricated her stories after other accusers spoke out publicly. Now, hearing this testimony, so many questions come to mind, right? Like, how could Kelly think he could get away with locking someone he just met in a room for days, starving, drugging, then raping them? And why are we just now hearing this? This is the 8th accuser who's testified against Kelly, but how do you think the jury received her testimony?
I think they received the testimony in many of the same ways that we all received it as we're hearing it. I think the defense brought out a couple of really important points to try and undermine her testimony by talking about how long it's been since she told anybody what happened. The fact that she has hired Gloria Allred, and the fact that she had a phone with her the whole time and maybe could have told someone or done something different. And all of that goes back to me, from my lens. We can be judgmental about her behavior as a fan or her behavior as someone trying to get the interview, but we really have to look at the accountability of the criminal and illegal behavior from R. Kelly. That's the point. And so as long as we keep coming back to that same analysis or that same lens or that same focus, I think the trial is proceeding in the way that prosecutors want it to proceed. Now, what to me stood out, separate from however judgmental we may have been about this person testifying as being dumb or fan behavior, what have you, we have to look at what the jury was left with which is yet another story of evidence, which is testimony, that's consistent with the testimony from the previous alleged victims that we're hearing about R. Kelly. And we're hearing corroborative evidence, corroborative information about R. Kelly and his rules. We're hearing corroborative evidence about things that he was doing consistently to justify the charges of racketeering or corruption. And again, the definition of that is the prosecution has to prove at least two instances of organized behavior for illegal purposes. And that's what we're hearing. So to me, that's the takeaway. This is another story that if you believe a part of it, and any part of it that corroborates the illegal purposes, the organized behavior that we've heard from other witnesses and other victims in the past.
Kitty is not the one, because Kitty was in 2013. It's not the same girl. And remember, Kitty came from Dallas, Texas. Let me continue.
That's a win and a goal for the prosecution. And to me, that's really the point. And we can unpack the judgment about her behavior and the attacks about her character, the attacks about her not making calls or telling anyone earlier, and the attacks about her hiring another defense attorney for her own representation. We can talk about that, but it's in a separate box and a separate analysis from the actual prosecution that we're talking about with R. Kelly.
Well, let's talk about the one specific line from Sonia's testimony regarding Kelly's inner circle. She says that when she walked in for what she thought was going to be an interview, one of Kelly's associates offered her a condom. Now, would this support? Actually, no, this would support the prosecution's theory that Kelly was running a criminal enterprise with the help of his staff, right?
That is correct, because now we're seeing not just R. Kelly and what he's doing and saying, but we're seeing his staff and people that he is directing, presumably, giving her material that would be inappropriate or for an inappropriate purpose, right? You come in for an interview, you're not going to get that interview, but you're about to get that condom or whatever you're about to get from R. Kelly, from his staff. And that's part of him coordinating behavior with his staff and the people that are around him. And again, the issue is we have to focus as jurors and we have to focus as viewers of what is R. Kelly's behavior. Was he acting illegally? Did he have an illegal purpose or have organized behavior that was inappropriate? Even though in this case, with this victim or alleged victim and with this witness, this is someone that was of age, although we've been hearing from plenty of others who at the time were not of age, both men and women. And so, yes, that condom being offered from staff as part of her interaction with Kelly is a very important part. And I think we'll hear it in closing arguments from the prosecution raising that issue about how R. Kelly was controlling the people around him to act in a certain way to encourage or help facilitate his illegal purposes.
Now, when the defense again tried to discredit Sonia's account, another disturbing allegation was revealed. When she was asked why she didn't report the encounter, Sonia said that someone told her to, quote, never mess with R. Kelly. And after his associates photocopied her ID and, obtained other information from her, Kelly then had the addresses and names of her family members. Will that be enough to quell some of those questions that I mentioned earlier by the jury that they might have had, like why someone who experienced something that she did allegedly experience and not report it to authorities?
Maybe not completely, but what it does do is it takes one more step affirming that the people around him were being directed by R. Kelly to diminish the likelihood of him being held accountable for whatever the behavior was that he was engaged in. Now we're hearing what that behavior was, but we're also hearing that he took specific, direct, and intentional actions that answers the question of why didn't they call someone? Why didn't they tell someone? Why didn't they stop or intervene earlier? Why didn't they feel empowered to do these things? Because he was grooming them, because the staff was helping them to be groomed to engage in something illegal or in something that they weren't giving consent to or didn't want to do. You can color it however you want to color it, But when you have to turn over your ID to someone whom you're afraid of or is in a different power structure than you are in, with, say, like a celebrity and you're a fan, when you have to sign and write all these documents and statements against your own family that could come out that could be embarrassing, when you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement for folks that aren't attorneys and don't understand or know the significance of these things, all of these things explain why people are hesitant to come forward and work with the criminal justice system or work with authorities. And we know that there's a hesitation even without all of those steps. But in this case, with those steps that have been orchestrated and built by R. Kelly specifically with these alleged victims, it does answer some of the questions that are being raised about their behavior. And again, I want to separate our judgment about behavior for people that are doing things that we may consider dumb or we are judgmental about, or that was stupid. But the real focus needs to be on what the team was doing and what R. Kelly was doing, because that's the focus of this trial. That's what prosecution is going to re-remind this jury after we hear from the rest of the testimony and the evidence that's being presented. And to me, that's what stands out. The information that will be used as evidence against R. Kelly in closing arguments to connect the dots, explaining why his behavior was illegal and why he should be held criminally culpable.
Well, the prosecution is expected to rest on Monday of next week. Now, Paul, if you're the defense, how would you try and stop the bleeding after weeks of this compelling and graphic testimony?
Okay, so the prosecution is expected to rest the case as of next week, guys. So next week, Monday, will be the end of them presenting whatever they need to present. And then it will be the defense's turn to present their corroborating witnesses and evidence of his innocence. And cross-examination from the prosecution to their witnesses. So that should be interesting, guys. Hello, G Garden. Welcome, welcome. Hi, honey. How are you? Honestly, though, if she had a phone the whole time she was held without food, she didn't text anybody. Onyx's question. Well, supposedly, allegedly, the girls are supposed to text R. Kelly or one of the runners to let them know that they were hungry and they wanted to eat. So I'm pretty sure she did. And if he didn't respond, then they had no other choice but to wait, right? Whether they were punished or they weren't punished. If they were punished, they weren't going to eat. Point blank, period. According to corroborating testimony, that allegedly he would let them starve. He would lock them in rooms. So, you know. You're welcome, Paul. Welcome, welcome, Paul. Thank you. And you're very welcome, brother. We need more men like you around here because there's not too many men who are out here standing up with these victims. You have men, a lot more men on the R. Kelly side. And it's sad. And there's all these women who are praising this man and his innocence. But wasn't the threat after the fact? If she asked them for food and they refused, she didn't text family. But wasn't the threat after the fact? No, R. Kelly always, he would lay down the rules. You know, he would let them know the rules. So the runners knew the rules and the girls had to know the rules and the runners had to make sure that the girls were in line, that they controlled the situation so that while R. Kelly was running around, these girls were in their rooms or on the bus or in the basement or wherever it was he had them, in a hotel room. Remember, he had girls all over the place. He had them, at one point he had girls in Florida and Chicago. Then another point he had girls Chicago, Florida, and Georgia. Then he had the girls in Las Vegas and California, or California. Hotels in California, Chicago. He was trafficking them back and forth for his own sexual gratification. He was acting like these girls were his girlfriends. He pretended. This is what a predator does. I hope that answers your question. Doghead, what's up, mama? Okay, and why is that? Because he owes a lot of money and he's paid off all these settlements. People done robbed him, all types of things. Like, no, I actually, once I saw Hallie in the Surviving R. Kelly Part 2, I knew she was going to be a corroborating witness for the prosecution. You know, because first of all, she was of age, and even though he did traffic her, it doesn't matter. But she didn't want to. She just rather had been a witness than press charges against him. I get it. You know, like I said, a lot of people love this man no matter what, because they did have good times. It wasn't like it was all bad times. There were good times. This is how he was able to keep these girls there. You have to show them a good time too. It can't all be bad. So that when he does something bad, he makes up with something good to keep them there. Oh, I just beat your ass. I'm sorry. I love you. But here's a Birkin bag and some shoes, Valencia shoes, along with $5,000. But at the end of the day, these girls were not allowed to leave with none of the stuff they bought. How about that? They weren't able to leave with none of the stuff they bought with his money. When they left him, they left with they were even lucky to leave with the shoes they had on. According to Hallie, Azriel got lucky. How about that? Because he was in jail and she was able to take whatever the fuck she wanted. Remember when she was kicking the box and she was saying, here, take these sweats. Take these sweats. She knew what she was doing. She was like, I'm going to take all the good clothes. You could keep all the sweats, girl, since you're going to be with that man. Take the sweats, because that's what he likes you to wear anyway. You can only wear certain things when you go out with him, and I'm not with him no more. So I'm going to take all my good clothes that he bought me, because I deserve it. Damn right you deserve it, girl. After being abused, you sure the fuck do deserve everything that he bought you and gave you. Even though it doesn't make up for the pain, you still got compensated somehow. Fuck that shit. Yeah. So, okay. Let's continue the video. It's almost over, guys.
You know, I think the defense only has one way to go here. And I think the defense is going to have to show with each witness, I would be putting up a line or a chart of like, here's when the incident's supposed to happen, but here's when it was conveniently revealed to prosecution to use against our client. And then I would have a breakdown from each and every one of those witnesses that was testifying at the inconsistencies, whether they were substantive or not, to try and talk about this being a shaky foundation to rely on a guilty verdict for the client that I was representing. That said, it's not a strong leg, and the verdict, and the evidence that has coming in has been corroborative. It has been consistent. We're hearing a lot about rules from every single person that led them to engage in behavior that, again, is illegal. basically because there's no defense, whether you thought they were lying or not, to some of the statutory rape involvement that R. Kelly was involved in. So that's what I think is going to happen. I'm looking forward to that as well.
So are we. All right, veteran prosecutor and legal contributor Paul Henderson, thank you so much for joining us. Coming up.
Thank you, Paul Henderson and the team at BNC for letting me share your content and give knowledge to the people. Thank you. Okay. Who says that she had a phone with the police when the police even came and did anything because they turned away when Az was in the hotel with him that time? I'm not even sure who's spreading that rumor. I don't even know, Queen. I don't. Obviously, I'm for the victims, but I try to look at the testimonies, how it could look and sound when they do their testifying. Yes, I mean, we have to look at both sides. We can't all be one-sided there. I mean, over here, we have open minds over here. But we all believe he's guilty as hell. But we have open minds. You know, you got to look at both sides of the defense, of the fence. You got to look at both sides of the fence. You know, how is Joy living? I mean, he has no money. Please go home, Joy, to your family that loves you. Now, that's a good question. Now, remember, he is getting donations. People are sending him money to his commissary and to his account. He is still getting royalties. He gets about $800,000. They will take what they need to take to pay whoever they need to pay, but they also leave him with some money. So he does what he has to do. The other day I was talking about how he even could have a Bitcoin thing going on. Private money. Stash it. He even has money in different people's names so he could get to money. He stashed money. Trust me, he stashed money. He's not as dumb as we think. There's people who help him with that. Nah, I'm not passing that shit, girl. It's by myself. But you want some? Hey, Miss April. Hi, Mama. Well, baby, the trial started today again. It was today again. 2 more girls testified. Haley Calhoun and Jane Doe number 3. They testified today. And as of next week, Monday, the prosecution's side should be resting. And then the defense team will be up to prove their case. And then after that, I gather it'll be closing arguments and things of that nature. And then it'll be about the end of the case by then. So I say the end of September, this case should be coming down to a verdict. The trial should end, I gather, in the next couple of weeks. I mean, at least 2 more weeks. Because we got this week, next week. This week's already almost over. So we got today, we got next week. So let's say in 3 more weeks, 2.5 more weeks, 2 to 3 more weeks, this trial should be over. I'm just giving it that much. Because she did actually say 4 to 8 weeks. Or 6 to 8 weeks. So, you know, we're already into the 3rd week and we're only in day 12. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Yes. Yes, someone was saying that he used Bitcoin to hide his money. Yes, I played a video from another content creator who was speaking about that. You know, and if he did do that, he's got money. Trust me. He's got money. You know, don't you guys remember Latoya X had mentioned to Azriel and the presidents that she had $4 million in an account stash for R. Kelly? Now, we don't know how true that is, but it could be true that he does have his money in other people's accounts. Like, he had people make accounts for him and put it in their name. I definitely would believe that. Did you hear that one of the accusers had said that Kelly had homosexual activities with one of his close male associates, and he did this in the same room she was in? It was said to be his boyfriend. Maybe you're talking about maybe that guy Bubba. Yeah, we heard a lot about Bubba. That was supposedly his boyfriend because the John Doe #1 would every so often have sexual contact with R. Kelly, as well as sexual contact with the girls as a punishment. You know, so, he actually would do homosexual acts with the males and the girls present. You know, so John Doe was his boyfriend at first, and then he recruited another John Doe #2, which I gather we should be hearing from, I gather, sometime next week, as to what their relationship was. And I believe that's Bubba. So let's see. I don't know. This is just my opinion. It's not fact. Everything I talk about is alleged. So it will be proven in court by law. And that's what we're waiting for. So everything right now is just my opinion. Now I wanted to announce something that has been going on for a while. I don't know if everyone knows about the man named Afrika Bambaataa. Does everybody know Afrika Bambaataa? He was a DJ from the Bronx, and he was part of the Zulu Nation. And when I used to go to John Jay High School in Brooklyn, there was a gang, and they were called Zulu Nation. And those guys were pretty. You had to be scared of them. You know, when you walked the corner and you went to John Jay and you were going to school, you would see them all hanging out. The whole corner, full of them. As well as vice lords. It would be the vice lords and Zulu Nation chilling. And they would take up the whole corner. Like, you had to be like, excuse me. Or you would cross the street to get because they would sit right in front of the main building, right in front of the building, right there. And it would be all of them chilling. Then they would be up the block, smoking, drinking, and doing all that stuff up the block. Get in trouble by the cops. Actually, one of the Zulu Nation brothers actually sliced the John Jay security guard in his face, Mr. Green. I was there that day at school. That shit was crazy. Oh, Lord, that was crazy. But allegedly, Afrika Bambaataa had been sexually abusing boys in the Zulu Nation. So I have an article here that says that Afrika Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation are being sued for child sex trafficking. Let me see if I can share my screen with y'all. Yes, please get them likes up, guys. Get them likes up. Put them likes up in there, y'all. Come on now. Bush people, whether you like me or not, support the sister. If you're going to support me by giving me views, you might as well hit the like button. Thank you. Let me see if I can share my screen with y'all. Let's see. Okay. Okay, guys, you see my screen? Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. Oh, that might be too much. Okay. Let's see. Okay, and this article here is from Metropolis. And this article was written by a content creator on YouTube who has been investigating and interviewing people in the Zulu Nation, and how the Zulu Nation recruited, how they ran their enterprise and things of that nature, and who was doing the abuse and who were the people that were getting abused, and were they getting paid, and how they were groomed, and sort of like an R. Kelly case. But this case is all about boys. There's no girls in this case. It's all about boys. And if you would like, her name is Layla Willis. Layla Willis. And she has a YouTube channel. That's the name on YouTube. Layla Willis. Leila, last name Willis. Wills. Go check her out. She does a lot of great work. Great work. She's a journalist and she's awesome. I recommend you go follow her. If I get a chance, I'll find her page and I'll put it I'm going to put in the links in the description to all the articles and the YouTube resources that I've played for you guys here today. Okay. I will put them in the description box so you guys can follow, and also my Cash App and all that other information, and my fair use warning disclaimer. So now, Child Victims Act lawsuit filed against hip hop pioneer and Zulu Nation organization. Now, warning, this article contains graphic descriptions of child sexual abuse. Then it tells me to read the official statement from the Zulu Nation, which we will. But it says here that Bronx, New York, Africa Bambaataa was recently served his copy of a lawsuit filed against him and the Zulu Nation, claiming the disgraced hip-hop pioneer, and that's him, by the way, right there, guys. You can see. You know, let me tell you a little story that happened to me when I was 18, 19. And I used to go out clubbing in New York City and Manhattan. I used to go to this club called Melting Pot. And it was on 29th Street and like 5th Avenue. One night I was in there. I'm dancing. I'm chilling. I'm on the floor. Some guy comes up behind me. They started playing reggae. I'm dancing to reggae. I'm all into it. Some guy comes up behind me and starts dancing with me. So I kind of peeked around. I'm like, oh, damn, this nigga big. He's some big nigga. Okay. And I'm grooving and I'm whining and I'm all like, he didn't get sexual or anything to that nature. We were just simply dancing. Normal reggae dancing. Yes, we were close, but he wasn't being disrespectful in any type of way. And I was like, weapon. I'm like, yeah, you know, dancing to my reggae. All of a sudden, the DJ puts the spotlight on me and him and says, yo, big up to Africa Bambaataa in the building. Say what's up, what's up, what's up. What? I'm like, okay. Who the hell is this Africa Bambaataa? I didn't even know who he was. I was like, okay, so he's somebody from the industry, I guess. Obviously. But I didn't know who he was. I never heard of this man before. And then when I heard about the story from Layla Willis, watching her commentary, I was like, holy smoke. I danced with that man. Jesus Christ, no wonder why he didn't take me home. I wasn't in sight. Because if you would have seen what I had on, one of y'all would have wanted to take me home. Okay? Just being honest. So he was finally served with his copy of his lawsuit and against him and Zulu Nation, claiming that the hip-hop pioneer, disgraced hip-hop pioneer, sexually abused and repeatedly sex trafficked a 12-year-old boy to other deviant adult males in exchange of money for 4 years. So in this one, he was sex trafficking the boys for money. So other people were paying him for the boys. Then it says child sex trafficking, by definition, refers to the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provisions, obtaining, patronizing, or soliciting of a minor for the purpose of a commercial sexual act. Now, R. Kelly did it for his own sexual gratification of transporting and harboring and recruiting and obtaining and patronizing and soliciting minors for the purpose of illegal sex acts. It's almost the same thing. Then it says that she writes, "We are the first to report on the suit." And she was. She is. And that was filed in Bronx Supreme Court, that says one location that the child sexual abuse and child prostitution took place was in Bambaataa Bronx River apartment, which doubled as the Zulu Nation headquarters at 1609 East 174th Street. I used to live on 167 for 5 years. And Bambaataa shared this apartment with Billy, aka Amid Henderson, not yet named in the suit. John Doe's lawyers filed the suit on August 4, 2021, 10 days before the August 14 deadline of the Child Victims Act, the CVA. Now, the Child Victim Act has to do with that they were, in New York City, they were letting people, like say, for instance, me, someone like me, who was victimized when I was 9 years old, could have gone back to get my justice of being abused by the boys that I was abused by. They gave you like 2 or 3 years to do this. So the time frame has finally been cut off, but they got a chance to do it before the deadline. Thank God. So it says that John Doe, in John Doe versus Lance Taylor, is represented by Tanner and Ortega. And attorney Hugo Ortega explains the nature of the action. Now, Lance Taylor is Afrika Bambaataa's name. That's his government name, Lance Taylor. Lance Taylor, aka Afrika Bambaataa. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's right. Now it says that the CVA opened the historic, it was a 1 year. It was a 1 year, one-time window for victims and survivors of childhood sexual abuse in the state of New York to pursue lapsed claims, as I just explained, right? And then it says, prior to the passage of the CBA, each plaintiff's claims were time barred the day they turned 22 years old. So allegedly these acts happened before these kids were 22 years old. Then it says that in 2016, Troy, aka Star Torain, sorry for that mispronunciation, had an interview with a Zulu Nation member who said he was sexually abused by Africa Bambaataa and other Zulu Nation members while in the 9th grade. So in the 9th grade, what are you? 14, 15 years old, correct? Now this began a litany of allegations on Torain's show against Bambaataa as more and more alleged victims came forward. So John Doe was not one of those men. Now it says that in here, this writer also interviewed alleged victims of Africa Bambaataa and members of the Zulu Nation for a documentary, and these interviews are currently airing on YouTube. So guys, like I said, I'm going to try to drop the link. Let me see if I can do it now. Give me one moment, guys. I'm going to see if I can drop the link for you guys here. Let me see if I can find her. All right, I'll drop the link to one of the videos. Okay. Here we go. Okay, here we go. I'm going to, how do I, okay. No, I gotta open it up, okay.
I figured out that in order to kill a cancer in the street, you need.
Ready to launch your Google ad?
Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Here is the link. All right, I put it in the link. I put the link in the chat, okay, guys? And once again, thank you for joining our members, my badass warriors of the divine light. I got some more emojis in there too, guys. If you want to check it out, I was able to put a couple of more in there. I get like, I think, if I get like 5 more subscribers, I can add, I think it said 8 or 9 more emojis, something like that. And remember, guys, I throw little exclusive things as a members, and it's only for members only. And I'm also going to get together my book club, so it'll be members only. And like I said, I'll be able to buy books at a group rate, and I can send it out to, I'll pick names out of a hat, and I will send books to you guys for being members, and we can read along. As a gift to you guys for being a part of the book club, I will give you guys books. And we'll talk about them as we go along. I want to be able to still continue the R. Kelly books. Definitely. I mean, even if after he goes to jail and his case is over and we still haven't finished reading all the books, I still want to go through them anyway. All right. Thank you guys for joining. Matter of fact, thank you so much. It's only $1.99 for a month. And every month your badges will change the longer you stay in the club. Okay? Thank you, Karen J. And guys, if you can, I'm going to, if you guys like my content, you enjoy me, please, can somebody put in my Cash App in there? The Cash App is scrolling on the bottom of your screen as well. It should say Diva Divine Light. That is my Cash App, guys. If you like my content, say, hey, Diva, this is for you, mama. If you would also like to donate to me, you can also do it through the super chat on the bottom where you guys chat. There is a $ next to it, and that's how you do super chats. Okay? Just to break that down to you guys as well. So I put Layla's link in here, and if you want, you guys can go watch that. You know what? I'm thinking maybe, how would you guys like to watch the documentary with me, members only? And we can talk about it. How does that sound? If you guys would like to do that, let me know. Put a 1 in the chat, y'all. If y'all would like to watch the documentary with me and we can go through it, I will definitely try to email her and get her permission to air it for members only, so I won't get striked. Okay, thank you for becoming a member, sister. Thank you. Now you got the little badge next to your name, baby. Badass warrior of the divine light. Yes, ma'am. Now, Sarah, you said look away. Where is this movie playing, baby? Is it Netflix, Hulu? Where? Where do we find this documentary? Thank you for becoming a member. R. Kelly's a dog head. Oh, look. Diva's Cash App, guys. Diva's Cash App. $ Diva Divine Light. The way it's shown on the screen is exactly the way you spell it when you type it in. You will see my beautiful little face up in there pop up. Okay. All right. R. Kelly's dog has said yes. All right. That would be cool. We could all watch it together and talk about it. We ain't got to let the whole world know about it. You know? Little special perks. I also want to see if we can do the Surviving R. Kelly documentary as well. Members only. That would be good too. You know? Because it's very triggering. These things are very triggering for victims such as I and others. You know, but we need to be in support of each other and understand the things that went on with us if we don't. You know, it's always good to just have someone to lean on. So let me continue. Reading. All right. So as I said, her interviews for the Zulu Nation, the documentary is on YouTube. I put the link in the chat. Okay, and it says, John Doe was not one of these men, though. Okay, so she did interviews, but John Doe, that's actually in the case, was not one of the men that she interviewed. Now, The next part of the article says, hold on. Shoot. Okay, Sarah, but I'll maybe I could type it up and find viewing in America. Thank you for that. It's called Look Away, correct? Now it says that everybody loves Bam. And according to several alleged victims, Afrika Bambaataa considered himself an intergalactic being who had to protect himself from wicked forces. He put tape over his VCR and Betamax to prevent Big Brother from spying on him and believed all phones were tapped. A new world order would soon be here, and Bambaataa believed he gained superpowers by swallowing the semen of young boys. Are you kidding me? This was his claim to fame. Are you kidding me? Now, do you guys remember the song Planet Rock? Planet Rock, Planet Rock. It's the soul shock. It's the soul shock. Y'all remember that? That's Afrika Bambaataa. That's him. Now it says that his song, Planet Rock, perfectly emulated his world. Aliens, hip hop, and rock, sex. His apartment was a mix of an office and an LSD trip. Now, on the walls were images of spaceships, vinyl records strewn all over the floor, and photo albums of naked male Zulu Nation members and naked New York DJs were always in close reach. Now, gay and heterosexual porn played often on his floor model television. That's like R. Kelly when they went to Florida and R. Kelly's home back in 2004, and they did that search warrant when they arrested him and brought him back to Chicago. When they went and did that, he had laptops open playing porn. He had a big screen TV playing porn. He had 2 tripod stands with cameras on them in one corner and another corner. And then he had a roll-away trunk, a metal one, full of tapes, whether they were movies or they were porn that was bought from the store, they said, or porn made by him. And he would travel with that everywhere he went. Allegedly, is what they said in the report when they did the search warrant. Now it says that Bambaataa developed his technique to captivate followers with rhythm, intonation, buzzwords, and thought-stopping phrases. He studied the cadence of Nation of Islam ministers and immersed himself in the teachings of Malik York and other doctrines. He used what he learned from other thought leaders to entrance Bronx youth. Another Pied Piper, but he used religion to gain access to the kids. R. Kelly used music, Afrika Bambaataa used music, but he also used religion to attract these kids. Then it says soon these kids that were dancing in the streets and becoming petty criminals started attending his classes. It wouldn't be long before they began using terms like king, queen, Aki, and Malik or Malika. After Bambaataa became an international celebrity, the youth credited their knowledge of self and all that they would become to Afrika Bambaataa. You know, so when you hear a lot of people saying that knowledge of self, they're part of that religion, that Zulu nation. They read those books. They read that stuff. Now, if the long-standing allegations against Afrika Bambaataa and the Zulu nation were a singular course in prosody, then everybody loves Bam would be the refrain. The newer members of the group projected a new image and sincerity, but Bambaataa surrounded himself with hardened criminals, and the Zulu nation never fully abandoned illegal street activities. It can now add child sex trafficking to the list of allegations. And this is the Bronx River Houses neighborhood center where he would do his teachings. Now it says that John Doe, according to the lawsuit, John Doe met Bambaataa in 1991. What is it with this year in 1991? Everybody in the 1990s and the early 1990s was a little bit too hypersexual. There was a little bit too much pedophilia going around. There was a lot of teenage unwanted pregnancies. I remember that because a lot of my friends was pregnant. I didn't get pregnant until I was in my 30s. That's why I got young teens now, preteen, soon to be a preteen and a teenager now. I waited. Now it says that in 1991, John Doe met Bambaataa at the age of 12. He began attending meetings at the Bronx River Community Center. Now, Bambaataa took a liking to him, and John Doe joined the Zulu nation and eventually became a part of his security force. So now he's got the John Doe working for him as security. Then after reaching global status as a celebrity, Bambaataa never left Bronx River Houses. He and Ahmed Henderson set up the Zulu Nation headquarters office in an apartment they shared at 1609 East 174th Street, apartment 8K. Now, that was in the projects. Now, Henderson's Nubian Productions was also operating out of this apartment. And it was in this apartment where Bambaataa began inviting 12-year-old John Doe to work out in his home gym. And that the suit alleges that Bambaataa began grooming the adolescent by complimenting the 12-year-old on his muscular body. That is so sick and nasty. Are you kidding me? Like, wow, you got nice peckers there. Your peckers look really nice. I like the fact you have no hair on your chest. Nice. You need to work out a little more. Make them more puffy. Drink some more protein shakes. I got some protein for you. Oh, God, Jesus Christ, I could only imagine. Lord of mercy. Oh, God. He began inappropriately touching the boy's shoulders, biceps, and abdomen. Eventually, this led to Bambaataa increasing his abuse by touching the child's private area. Let me go get my charger for my phone. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to play some music for y'all in the meantime. All right, back, guys. Sorry about that. I had to get my water, too. I got my charger. I got water. So what do you guys think about this so far? Let me see what we got going on in the chat. What are we saying? Okay. Yes, I'm trying to find. Okay. Yes, Planet Rock and Looking for the Perfect Beat were his hits. Yes. He was looking for the perfect beat the whole time. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Malachi X. York was another weirdo black cult leader. It is a documented fact that he raped more children than any man in American history. Oh my God, Paul, Jesus Christ. Lord have mercy. I cannot. This is, what is going on? Yes, just disgusting. Dr. Malik Z. York. Okay. We're going to look up about that guy. Now, wait, now this guy, you said he's what? Oh, he was a black cult leader. Okay. And did he know Afrika Bambaataa, Paul, by any chance? Okay, baby. I love you, Sarah. Have a good day, mama. Top of the morning to you, baby. Yeah. This is just vile. How do people, it's a sickness, I think. It's just a sickness. And, you're doing things morally and legally wrong, but yet you are still willing to, feed your appetite. Because that's what it is. It's an appetite. It's like a serial killer. You know, they got to feed their appetite. They have that lust to kill, that lust for murder, that love of blood, the smell of blood. Like, you know, the same thing with a predator. The smell of the innocence, the love of the child's body. You know, it's sick. It's sick. And I think all these people should be hung by the balls. Okay? I don't, you know. Then it continues to say that the claim. What the hell is that? Oh, that must be outside. Oh, that's outside. Sorry about the distraction in the background. But look, this is the project. This is the building. This is the building where he lived at 1609 East 174th Street. And it says that the claim describes how stage after stage, moment after moment, visit after visit, Bambaataa methodically, patiently, and expertly groomed the preteen into acceptance of this illegal contact and illicit behavior, according to the suit. Now, Bambaataa then began exposing the child to pornography videos while encouraging him to masturbate. Oh, God. According to the lawsuit, Bambaataa himself freely masturbated in front of the 12-year-old and continued his sexual assault by committing full rape by sodomy on the minor child. The suit also alleges that while parading himself as a pillar in the community and the leader of a righteous organization, Bambaataa's degradation and humiliation of this young boy knew no bounds. The suit alleges Bambaataa had no regard for human life because he transported and supplied this young boy to other deviant, perverted males for cash. According to the Department of Justice, this is the definition of child sex trafficking. The lawsuit says Bambaataa even took John Doe to other locations. Now, see, R. Kelly, what he's being charged for is the Mann Act, okay? And Afrika Bambaataa is being charged with child sex trafficking, where he was getting paid. So it's different, but it's more or less the same. One was for his own sexual gratification, and the other one was doing it for money. Then it says that the lawsuit says that Bambaataa even took John Doe to other locations where he watched other adult men sodomize this child for money. So he was even sitting there watching this boy get sodomized by other men and got paid like a pimp. Oh, God. This is sick. I hope this man gets 1,000,000 years in jail. Never comes out, never sees the light of day again. May they rape him over and over. Lord, forgive me for saying that, Jesus. Oh, wow. And let me retract that, please. When he gets to jail, they will be handling him. That's all I gotta say. They will definitely handle his ass. They are going to handle him. The founder, leader, and owner of the Zulu Nation was allegedly heavily involved in a child sex trafficking ring which used Zulu Nation headquarters at 1609 East 174th Street as one of their locations. An apartment that was buzzing with people and activity 24 hours a day, but no one saw anything. According to the lawsuit, Bambaataa prostituted this child for over 4 years. The next topic is 5 causes of action in the John Doe versus Lance Taylor lawsuit. 1. Assault. Lance Taylor's oh my God. 1 is assault. Lance Taylor's initial sexual assault of John Doe was for his own sexual gratification and without regard for John Doe's well-being resulted in the apprehension of harm, unwanted physical contact, and without consent. Minors cannot consent. Period. I don't care if they lied about their age. They cannot consent. Period. 2. Civil battery. Lance Taylor committed battery by initially trafficking John Doe to other adult men who sexually assaulted him in the presence of Lance Taylor. Intentionally. 3. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Now, you know, R. Kelly did this to these girls too. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. And Africa Bambaataa did this to these boys. Allegedly. Blay! Now it says that number 3, intentional infliction of emotional distress, which is engaged in extreme and outrageous conduct when he transported the minor to the locations where adult men sexually assaulted him in the presence of Lance Taylor, aka Africa Bambaataa, for the sole purpose of offering John Doe to perform sex acts in exchange for money and for his own sexual gratification. As a result, John Doe has suffered and sustained severe mental anguish and depression. Such conduct exceeds what is tolerated in a civilized society and has gone beyond all reasonable bounds of decency, thereby indicating Lance Taylor's utter disregard for the consequences of his action. The same thing with R. Kelly. Total utter disregard for the consequences of his actions. Total disregard. It wasn't my fault. It was his fault, her fault, their fault, everybody else's fault but my fault. And nobody else's fault. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was my brother, Carrie Kelly. $50,000, bro. I'll give you $50,000, bro, to shh and say it was you, bro. Say it was you. I'll even give you a record deal. Now, if you're so innocent, Mr. Kelly, why would you do that? If that was not you on those tapes in 2008, why would you do that? I want an answer from the supporters. Why would he do that? Huh? Now, Lance Taylor, aka Africa Bambaataa, knew that his extreme and outrageous conduct would give multiple adult men the ability to sexually assault the minor, which would inflict severe emotional and psychological distress. 4. Negligent infliction of emotional distress. Lance Taylor breached his duty to exercise reasonable care when he escorted the minor to the apartment belonging to adult men for the sole purpose of offering him to perform sexual acts in exchange for money. It is foreseeable that sex trafficking an individual, especially a minor, would result in the infliction of severe emotional and psychological distress. 5 is gross negligence. Evinced extreme indifference to John Doe's health, safety, and rights by breaching his duty to exercise reasonable care when he transported the minor plaintiff to the apartments belonging to adult men for the sole purpose of offering the plaintiff to perform sexual acts in exchange for money. And she continues to say that Layla says that I will follow this case closely and provide updates as they come in. Lance Taylor, aka Africa Bambaataa, must answer the court summons within 30 days of being served. So he just got served and he's got 30 days to answer that summons. Now she concludes her article by saying, will the feds finally investigate the Zulu Nation? And she says that known aliases of Lance Taylor are Africa Bambaataa, Africa Bambaataa Assam, Kevin Donovan, Assam Bambaataa Bay, Bambaataa Kayan Assam, and Chief Dragonfly. Now, child trafficking is a federal offense with no statute of limitations, and the Child Exploitation and Obscenity Section, the CEOs of the Department of Justice, needs to launch a full investigation of Lance Taylor, aka Africa Bambaataa, and the Zulu Nation. John Doe's lawsuit says he has sustained physical injury, severe emotional distress, psychological distress, and depression. Because of Bambaataa's conduct, he has suffered anguish, embarrassment, and was prevented from obtaining the full enjoyment of life. Other alleged victims of Africa Bambaataa say that he has several explicit photos, albums of naked children, teens, and adults in sexual exploitive poses. Now, this writer has learned that Bambaataa is also a pack rat, and based on his collection at Cornell University, rarely parts with any memorabilia. If he is in fact a pedophile, the science shows they keep trophies. And these books are most likely somewhere law enforcement could find if they would only investigate the allegations of these Black and Latino survivors. Now, Lance Taylor before Africa Bambaataa. All right. I'm not going to go all the way into his story there. We'll talk about that another day. We'll leave it there. And it tells about where Africa Bambaataa came from. Now, there was some other stuff in interesting news that people were bugging out about. And it was this whole thing with R. Kelly and Drake and his music and all these things, you know, because he sampled R. Kelly's song. Now, Drake's producer, Noah, 40 Shebib, okay, Noah 40 Shebib addresses R. Kelly's credit on the TSU song, right? Which is Drake's new album. Okay. Now, Noah is a longtime producer, and he's also an engineer for Drake. And he has given the backstory on why R. Kelly was included in the credits on Drake's new album, Certified Lover Boy, aka CLB. Now, Kelly gets a songwriting credit, and the song is TSU, as it raps in the intro from his 1998 single, Half on a Baby. So they use the music of Half on a Baby. And according to Noah, which is the producer, he left a long comment on an Instagram post about the topic on Saturday, the September 4th. And he says that they were forced to license the Kelly track because it appeared in their recording of OG Ron C speaking at the beginning of the song TSU. And it says that in reaction to an independent news headline, okay, so followers shared their thoughts, and that 40 chimed in with a statement through his verified Instagram account on a song called TSU. At the beginning is a sample of OG Ron C talking, and that he wrote in the comments, and I quote, "Behind that faintly, which you can't even hear, is an R. Kelly song playing in the background. It has no significance. No lyrics are present. R. Kelly's voice isn't even present. But if we wanted to use Ron C talking, we were forced to license it." He also added that it doesn't sit well with him. He says, "Doesn't sit well with me. Let me just say that. And I'm not here to defend Drake's lyrics, but I thought I would clear up that there is no actual R. Kelly present, and it's a bit misleading to call him a co-lyricist. It's kind of wild because I was just reading Baby Girl by Kathy Iandali, and the recounts of some of that stuff is horrific and disgusting. Then I saw this post and just had to say something, because to think we would stand beside that guy or right with him is just incredibly disgusting." So Mr. Noah, the producer, had that to say about people complaining that they gave credit to R. Kelly, but they were forced to because they were using a song, and the other guy who was featured on the song was not going to be able to rap on it unless they gave R. Kelly the credits for Half on a Baby. Now, I heard this song. I went back and I listened to it. I couldn't even tell that was Half on a Baby. I'm like, where is the song? Where is, I don't even hear it. I'm confused. And, give credit where credit's due. And if these people have to do this way to legally release a song because they want to sample somebody's music, they got to do what they got to do. And I agree with him. It's not like he's singing a track on the song. It's not like he wrote a hook and he's singing half on a baby in it and they're using his lines. You know what I mean? I think some people just, that's just for me. I think that was just a little bit too ridiculous. Like, come on now. I mean, I'm not with R. Kelly either, but damn. Give the guy his credit. He is a genius. Shit. I didn't hear any part of R. Kelly in there at all. I heard Drake. That's what I heard. And his boy rapping on it. That's it. That's all. I didn't even hear any parts of that. You know, so that was just kind of weird. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and talk about that as well. Next topic was about this whole thing with Tasha K. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. September 7th, we heard the news about Tasha K. That an ex-prisons officer suspected of leaking R. Kelly's jail communications to blogger. Federal records show. How did you guys feel about that one, guys? That was crazy. You know, and there were all these people bugging out saying that Tasha K is going to get prosecuted, all this and that. Yeah, Karen, they made it seem like something else. You're right. That's why I was tripping. I was like, huh? I was like, this is just them being petty. People are just being petty at this point. Like, damn. Give the guy a break, you know. His music is his music. He was a genius. We all have to give him that credit. But it's a shame that he has disappointed all of his fans. Well, a lot of us he has disappointed, to where we are ashamed to even want to listen to his music anymore. But we got to give credit where credit is due, man. Shit. That's all we can do. So, Tasha K, as we know, was handed down some information from someone in the jail. And that's crazy. You know, she said that she had the plug and that she wasn't gonna tell people where she got her information from, this, that, and the third. She read the whole transcript of the text messages, the emails or whatever it was, emails. Like, come on. You know, she's not. All right, listen. First of all, she's not going to go to jail for being a reporter because she was only doing her job. She got this information leaked. If she paid for it, it didn't matter. She didn't do nothing wrong. The person who obtained the information from the inside of the prison is the one who did the illegal criminal act. She just leaked out an exclusive story. That was private information. Yes. But she was doing what she does as a journalist. So let's give her that credit where credit is due. She was doing what she had to do. All right. Now, boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Okay. Now, I wanted to talk about One of our bloggers out here in these YouTube streets, as we know her as Sylvia, infamous Sylvia, right? AKA James, AKA whatever y'all want to call her. I can't with her. Now, she's trying to give R. Kelly an excuse on how he could get away with shit, right? Now, she was saying about how it's a mistake of age, a defense to statutory rape. Now, this was posted in 2020, and it says that mistake of age can be a defense to a criminal charge for statutory rape if a defendant honestly and reasonably believed that the alleged victim was at or above the age of consent. Now, this can serve to negate the crime in certain states and jurisdictions, right? Okay. So, yeah. If the guy knows that the girl is 18 and then he has sex with her and finds out she's really 16, that's a mistake of age, right? Now, what is statutory rape? Now, statutory rape is the crime of having sexual intercourse with someone who is under the age of consent, or someone who is physically incapacitated, or someone who is mentally disabled. Now, statutory rape laws forbid all sexual intercourse in these situations, even when it is consensual. Now, this is because these groups of people are legally unable to consent to sex. And these people are the people that we spoke about, the underage person, a person who's physically incapacitated, or someone who's mentally disabled. Okay? These people are legally unable to consent to sex. Now, they can agree to have sexual relations or even initiate them. However, because they are not capable of consenting, any sexual act is a non-consensual one. Now, how old is the age of consent, you say, right? Many statutory rape cases involve alleged victims who are under the age of consent, correct? Right. Now, different states have different age of consent laws. Now, in California, for example, the age of consent is 18 years of age. Now, in most states, like Iowa, it is 16. And in a few states, like New York, it is 17. Well, actually, it's 18. That's incorrect. Then it says, unless a state has a close in age exemption, also known as a Romeo and Juliet law, it is statutory rape to have sex with someone under the age of consent. Period. Now let me try to blow this up here. Oh, Now it says here that what is the mistake age of defense? Again, the mistake of age defense to a statutory rape is a reasonable belief that the alleged victim was over the age of consent at the time of the offense. Not all states recognize mistake of age as a defense to statutory rape. The defense is a form of the mistake age. The defense is a form of the mistake of fact defense. Okay? And it argues that the defendant could not have formed the necessary mens rea or criminal intent to commit the crime, right? Because they're saying he thought she was of age, but he didn't know her real age. So what he did wasn't with criminal intent. He was just having consensual sex, right? But in California, the Supreme Court first recognized that a reasonable mistake of age was a defense to a statutory rape charge in 1964. Now, some other states have come to recognize the defense through the common law process or by enacting statutes. Now, however, many other states still do not recognize that a good faith belief in the alleged victim's age is a defense to statutory rape charges. So the criminal law in these other states still consider statutory rape to be strictly liability sexual offense. Now, this means that the defendant's intent does not matter. All that matters is whether the alleged victim was actually underage. Again, this means that the defendant's intent does not matter. All that matters is whether the alleged victim was actually underage. Now, the Model Penal Code recommends a middle ground between these extremes. It recommends allowing mistake of age to be an affirmative defense for cases involving children over the age of 10. Now, as we know, the age of consent varies by state from the ages of 16 to 18 years old. Now, what was the other one? Okay. Can I be convicted of statutory rape if my partner looked like or claimed to be an adult, right? Now it says that in most states, as we know, a person can be convicted of statutory rape, even if the person genuinely believed a sexual partner was older than a certain age. Only a few states allow a defense to statutory rape based on a reasonable mistake of age, right? Now, it says that in most states, a person could be convicted of statutory rape, even if the person genuinely believed a sexual partner was above a certain age, called the age of consent. In a few states, defendants can raise a defense to statutory rape based on a reasonable mistake as to a partner's age, but usually only in limited circumstances. Okay, understand that. But only in limited circumstances. Now, this article primarily discusses the defense of mistake age in statutory rape cases. For a general discussion on the issue of statutory rape laws, we'll you know what? Let me open this up in another window. Okay, no, I think that's that right there. No, okay, something else. Okay. Now it says that most states don't use the term statutory rape in their laws. Instead, the crime usually falls under a state's rape, sexual assault, or criminal sexual conduct laws. As we said, statutory rape has to do with the age of consent. Each state defines statutory rape differently, from the age of consent to any allowable defenses. States, however, do not vary on one point. Consent by an underage person to have sex is not a defense to statutory rape. Now, as we know, age of consent in each state is different. It runs from age 16 to 18. Now, the age of consent represents a strict cutoff point in statute that draws a line between criminal and lawful behavior. So say you live in a state where the age of consent is 16. Having sexual intercourse with someone younger than 16 is a crime, even if the person consented and was only younger than 16 by 1 day. You heard that, Sylvia? Okay. Just make sure you understand that. All right. Then there's strict liability crimes. Okay? In most states, it doesn't matter if the defendant thought the victim was older than the age of consent, because statutory rape is considered a strict liability crime, one that doesn't require proof that the defendant knew the victim's underage status. Do you hear that? Do you understand that? Do you get it now? Do you get it now? Yo, microphone check 1 2. What is this? Do you hear me now? Now, to prove statutory rape is a strict liability, this is statewide, state, not federal, state. So get that correct as well. We're talking about state, not federal. And R. Kelly's crimes are federal. We'll get to the state case later. Right now, we're talking about his federal crimes. Okay? So we can't use this in a federal case. Got it? Good. Now, the prosecutor only needs to prove the defendant had sex with an underage person. It doesn't matter if the sexual partner claimed to be or looked the age of consent. It doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't matter. Another example of a strict liability offense is speeding. You can get a speeding ticket whether you meant to speed or not, right? Just an example. Doesn't matter. You knew right from wrong at the end of the day. Slow down, right? Now, the mistake of age defense allowed. In a minority of states, defendants can raise a mistake of age defense, but only in limited circumstances. And R. Kelly's case is not a limited circumstance, so he can't do it. Now, when allowed, a defendant must prove the mistake was reasonable. Now, some states require a defendant to establish additional factors to prove the defense, right? Now, limited circumstances. Let's go through the limited circumstances, okay? Okay, because I don't think you read all of this to your people because you like to misguide your folks. Sorry for all the misguided folks who are watching Infamous Sylvia. I apologize for her misleading y'all, misguiding y'all to be a bunch of flying monkeys. I'm sorry. I apologize for her. Lord Jesus. Now, let's see. Limited circumstances. Now, states, I'm going to say it again, states that allow mistake of age defense for statutory rape generally limit the defense to some extent, right? Okay. Most commonly, states allow defendants to raise the mistake of age defense only when the victim is older than a certain age, such as 13. Now, for statutory rape involving younger victims, most states have decided ignorance or mistake isn't a credible defense, and strict liability applies in these cases. So states vary in setting these age thresholds. As an example, a state could set the age of consent at 16, but limit the mistake of age defense only to situations where the underage person was age 13, 14, or 15. So if a person has a sexual relationship with a child younger than 13, strict liability applies, and a defendant cannot argue the victim looked 16. Okay, did you hear that? Did you get that? Did you get that? Girl, did you hear what I just said? I hope you heard that shit. And I hope all your people heard that shit too. And I hope you get it. And I hope you understand that. Please do. Yes, Paul. Yes, Paul. Yes, sir. Now, reasonable belief. Okay? If, let's say, right, if a mistake of age defense is allowed, okay? Because in some states it is, but not in New York. Not in New York. And right now he's facing New York charges. So he can't use that defense, right? I'm not sure. I believe no for Illinois as well. I gotta look back on that. Now, reasonable belief, if a mistake of age defense is allowed, right? A defendant needs to prove the mistake was reasonable, right? So the facts or circumstances a defendant might use to establish proof of reasonable belief include these things. Any statements or hold on. Any statements or misrepresentations concerning age made by the victim to the defendant or others, the defendant's efforts to verify the victim's age, and the circumstances of the defendant and victim's acquaintance. Also, the victim's physical appearance and other people's belief as to the victim's age. So, for instance, let's say a defendant's mistake is thinking a victim was 17 might be found reasonable if the victim drives and claims to have a job. But a jury likely wouldn't find it reasonable for a defendant to claim mistaking a prepubescent 12-year-old child who attended middle school for a 17-year-old. Right? So Geronda Pace said she was 14 when she first met R. Kelly and ran into him. And then a year later, or 2 years later, whatever it was, a year later and some months, he meets her in person. She says she's 16, but she lied and said she was 18 or 19. One of those two numbers. I don't remember which one it was. Right? It didn't matter if she had on a wig, okay, with some lipstick and eyeliner on, looking like she was 19, but she was really 16. It doesn't matter. Additional factors, he has to prove that he knew all of that. But he still did it anyway, so it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's the adult who is responsible. The adult is the one who could consent. Now it says additional factors. Just as states define age of consent differently, a few states define their mistake of age defense differently. So for instance, Alaska requires proof that a defendant undertook reasonable measures to verify the victim's age. In Washington state, a defendant must prove reasonable belief based on the victim's statements concerning their age. So, the defendants accused of statutory rape often claim that they had no reason to know that their partner was underage. They may argue that the child said that he or she was of age and that a reasonable person would have believed it. But even if this is true, a defendant cannot rely on a mistake of age, even a reasonable one, to avoid conviction. Mistake of age is not a defense in New York. You hear that? Not in New York. Can't play that over here in New York. Okay? Sylvia? I'm glad you heard that, girl. Okay. And if you have ever been a victim of sexual assault or rape, please contact the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, also known as RAINN, RAINN, for online help and local resources. Now, this was right. Okay, I did that already. Okay. Now, another thing that I had an issue with was Sylvia speaking upon marriage and the age of consent and this, that, and the third. And the only way that, he could get away with it is because she was pregnant and they could be married. So it was legal. Okay, girl, listen, you sound confused. Let me explain something to you. Marriage age requirement laws, right? Now we're going to talk about information on law about marriage age requirements, okay? Now the laws regulating marriage are quite uniform. The right to marry is considered very personal and once the age of majority. Now, or when one can marry without the permission of a parent or guardian is reached, right? So it is the couple's sole decision whether or not to marry. However, below this age, parental consent is required, though states do not require the consent of a parent or guardian who is not present in the country or who has abandoned his or her child. Now, the age of majority is now universally 18, except in Mississippi, where the parties need to be 21, okay, to get married without consent. Okay. Now, while only 3 states, California, Kansas, and Massachusetts, they have no statutory minimum age under which marriage licenses will not be issued. So many states with the minimum age requirement do permit marriages between minors under the age. Now, virtually all states allowing the marrying of minors require court approval in addition to parental consent. So not only can you get permission from the parents, you got to get permission from the judge. Then it says that a growing number of states now require counseling for minors seeking to marry. Provisions for underage marriages exist in order to permit pregnant minor females or couples to marry. Now, the provisions for underage marriages only exist in order to permit, they exist, they do, in order to permit pregnant minor females or couples to marry. So there are certain guidelines if a woman is pregnant that you have to follow in order to marry her, right? Where you won't be convicted of statutory rape of the sort, right? Or committing a crime, right? So now it says that provisions for underage marriages exist in order to permit pregnant minor females or couples to marry, and prevailing code language still clearly reflects that bias. Now, Ohio has the most explicit rule on this issue in that state. Now, the juvenile court is authorized to grant official consent to the marriage of underage persons, and the probate court issues the license. Now, according to Ohio statutes, the probate court may delay issuing the license until the court is convinced that the female is pregnant and will carry the child to term, or may even delay insurance of the license until the baby is born. Now, marriage age requirements by state code: minimum legal age with parental consent and minimum legal age without parental consent. And then these are the comments on the side. Now, we are in the state of New York, right? Okay, state of Illinois. The codes for the laws for this to be, right, is 750 ILCS 5203 to 5208, right? And 5208. Now, again, the state of Illinois, the code section, which I just told you the code, right? Which is now the minimum legal age with parental consent in Illinois. The male has to be 16 and the female has to be 16. Now, that's legal age with parental consent. With the male has to be 16 and the female has to be 16 with parental consent for it to be legal. Okay? Minimum legal age without parental consent. The male has to be 18 and the female has to be 18. Now, it says that if no parents to consent, judicial consent with finding that parties are capable of marriage, no provisions for marriage under age 16. So, R. Kelly married Aaliyah illegally. No matter what you say, girl, he did it illegally. Okay? Then we go to New York. Then we go to New York. The code for this is DOMRELSS7, 15, and 15A. For it to be legal, right? Wait, sorry about that. In New York, for the minimum legal age with parental consent, the male has to be 16, the female has to be 16. With parental consent. The minimum age without parental consent is the male has to be 18 and the female has to be 18. Comments on this is that minors under 16 must have approval of parents and court. Minors 16 and 17 must have only parental consent. No license to minors under 14. Okay. Um, okay. All right. I think I'm going to end this live, guys. I've been on for a while. We will continue where we left off. Yeah, definitely. So, what do we got going on in the chat? Let's see. Comments, were you guys even paying attention? Let's see. That's what they said, that he was a follower of his books. Yes, that's what she said. Yes, he is another disgusting human being. Is this man in jail? Well, he just got served a summons. So once he answers that summons, he just got a legal suit, a civil suit. So no, he's not in jail as of yet, I gather. Okay. Back in the day, Dr. York's many paper-bound books were sold on street corner tables in Harlem, New York, and even downtown Brooklyn. Out of curiosity, I bought several of them and found the contents to be heavily metaphysical. Okay, well, they used to hang out downtown Brooklyn, and those Zulu Nation brothers used to preach on the streets and sell the books over there as well. I remember seeing them as a kid. I sure did. Ha! Karen Johnson, that is funny. African BB sounds like he would be a perfect cellmate for Robert Kelly. You're absolutely right. I agree with you on that. Yes, as far as that drink, they did make it seem like something else. They worried about a R. Kelly sample, but still singing the Star Bangle Bang. Yeah, like that's kind of ridiculous. Like that was just OD for me. Hey, Wings, I'm glad you're back, baby. Okay, selective outrage. When she read the email months ago on the live, were people furious and raising hell back then? Wow, that's a good point, Karen. They really weren't. They really weren't. People do have this selective outrage. I have to agree. Miss April said I was outraged because she was talking about his spelling. Yeah, she was making fun of his illiteracy. Yes, she was. I think he still should have gotten help a long time ago, and he wouldn't have had that problem this day. Hopefully someone in jail is actually helping him. You never know. People in there, they do wind up, getting cellmates. That's my brother, cousin, R. Kelly knows how to pick his cousins and nephews and nieces and brothers and sisters of that nature, So I'm pretty sure he found a brother in there that's going to teach him how to read and write. He'd be taking notes in court and shit, writing down stuff. I'm pretty sure he does know how to read and write. Good night, guys. Good night, whoever was leaving. Good night, Karen. So whoever is helping him out, kudos to you, man. Kudos. But people were going ballistic this week like it was new news. Yeah, she got the emails from somewhere. He wasn't emailing her. Right, exactly. That's why I said she's not going to get in trouble, because she really had no part in that. It was more about the resource and where the resource got the information from. So, yeah, the employee was wrong, totally wrong. She should be prosecuted. I agree with that. Okay. I watched a video today that Joy did, and she said RSK can read. He can read. He just has dyslexia. Dyslexia is not a disease that you cannot read. You can read and you can write. It's just some of the words or letters get mixed up. You mean to say this word, but he's supposed to say this word. I have information about that too. We'll talk about that another day. Right. You know what he does? He actually sings it into a recorder. That's what he does. He sings his thoughts into a recorder. And then allegedly, he has someone write it down once he's put it together. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, hello, Chi-Town OG. What's up, what's up? Welcome, welcome. His attorneys even said he can't read. Okay, I'm shocked too, Miss Karen. Tricky. That Kelly, he really is. He can't read. He can read. Dyslexia does not mean that you cannot read. He knows how to read. Miss April, his current girlfriend had a statement saying he can read. Yeah, maybe he has learned since. I'm pretty sure he has, Miss April. I'm pretty sure people are helping him out, you know? I'm pretty sure they are. So all this time, those romantic, seductive love songs were addressed in his mind, not to grown, mature women that you ladies might have thought, but instead to young underage girls. Lock him up, I say. Yes, I agree. Lock him up. Lock him up. You know, if he did do these things, allegedly that we have been learning that he has been described. You know, I can't believe that Dirty B is saying this. Right, he hasn't learned in 30 years, but he should be learning now. I think now is the opportunity and the time for him to keep himself busy with that. I agree, Miss April. He should be getting his diligence done in there while he's in there. Yeah, okay. Right. Yes, I'm about to end the live, guys. I wanted to end it with a poem dedicated to the ladies who are accusers, alleged victims of R. Kelly. And this is Sierra de Mulder. And she did a poetry reading. Okay, hold on. Let me.
We are taught.
Okay, here we go. Hold on. Okay. All right, let me see if I can open this bigger. Okay, let me close this. Oh, wait, I forgot to share my screen. Am I still sharing the screen? No, let me share my screen with y'all. I'm going to take you guys out with this. Please do not forget to hit that like button on your way out, guys. Thank you. And to all my new subscribers, hello. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. And we will be getting into different things little by little. If you are not a member to my club, please join. It's only $1.99. There I will give you sneak tips and exclusive things, private things. We will also do book clubs over there. All right. So slowly but surely I will get that together. but please join. You can also get to use little emojis in the chat. I got a couple of cute little emojis for you guys there. So if you want to laugh out loud, you can put a little emoji in that says laugh out loud, things of that nature. Okay, I'm going to share my screen one last time. I'm going to take y'all out with this poem, and I dedicate this poem to all survivors of sexual assault and children of sexual assault, sex trafficking, anyone who has ever been abused or molested as a child. I'm sorry, but we are strong. I'm sorry that this happened to you. I'm sorry. But we are strong. We are warriors. We are survivors. We did what we had to do to survive. Just remember that. We did what we had to do to survive. We didn't report because of the ridicule that the people out in the streets do to us. Enjoy the poetry. Oh, wait, I gotta go on mute.
We are
Hold on.
taught from the moment we leave our
I just want y'all to know, whenever you point one finger at somebody, you always got three pointed right back at you. Now,
Peace, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will see you guys later. Don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to donate to the transcript fund, you can cash at me, Diva Divine Light, or our brother Atmos, Love Zone. And I will see everybody later. Peace. Good night, everyone. And thank you for coming and joining me, guys. Peace.